It's all happening, folks. Everything is happening.
Are we talking about him next? Is that the next?
Well,
look,
I really.
Speaking of that guy.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh gosh. I don't want to make it a Trump show, but we at least have to talk about Trump.
Thank you, Dan.
The assassination attempt on Trump.
Yes.
I mean,
well, it's so big you can't.
My
avoid
God,
it.
the man got shot at. You know.
Yeah. He did.
And listen, he is running for president, so he's a political figure, but also he is a former president. Like, even if he was a former president and he wasn't running, any other former president, you know, and there's an assassination attempt, that's insane. That's crazy.
It
and
is.
so yes, he's running, but like, just the fact that this character, this figure in American politics, had a literal assassination attempt on his life, man. Someone tried to shoot Trump dead.
Yeah. And I was saying to you, like, we're in that day and age where, like,
what?
That clip, like, we would have like mainstream apps like Twitter, we would have
seen Trump's splattered head.
We would have access to the literal assassination.
We would
like
see 4K
back in the day
footage.
with like JFK, that it exists through photos.
There's like
we
a
would
few
have,
like film shots of it, but it's very.
There are a few film,
but I know what you're saying. It's like I've seen so many angles of this Trump assassination,
exactly.
and if
like,
it was
everyone
successful,
has it was being filmed through a main camera, and
nearly
then
saw
we had
his head splatter in 4K.
Well, yeah, and everyone's filming. Well, a few people in the crowd were obviously filming him. Obviously, they didn't know there was going to be
like
assassination.
filming fireworks.
But
They just wanted to film it.
yeah,
To
exactly.
Be there,
like
you
they
know?
would have gotten, as we've seen, like multiple angles. Look, I know you've.
Well,
I should say I am not a Trump supporter. But you know, when I woke up on Sunday morning, my mother told me that Trump got shot at and nearly died. Yeah, I
so insane, man.
I think it's fucked up. Like, I don't think anyone. Look, Trump's obviously a ringleader for a lot of wacky ass people. I think, is that fair to say?
Sure, definitely.
And look, he is a ringleader, but also I don't think anyone should be shot at, despite who they are. Even if it was Biden, who I fucking hate.
It's like I said.
And by the way, I am a loving liberal, if you want to know. But I hate Biden. But I don't think anyone should be shot. As our prime minister said very
Yeah, he
well.
denounced it. That's right.
He did a speech, by the way, before fucking Biden did. I know Biden released a statement, but he did a speech before him.
He was on camera before.
I think, regardless.
Well, it's probably because Biden had to do
let me-
5 takes to get it right. You know what I mean? Like,
Let me make this clear, as Alvo said, our beautiful PM.
cheers, Albert.
Let me make this clear. Yeah, he said, like, it's like, I think
Political violence is not acceptable.
Look, as much as, like, you know, I think that's the problem these days. It's like us and them. It's like, you know, at the end of the day, I think we can all come together, a lot of us, and be like, that was just fucked up. And regardless of their views, I think we shouldn't. Death is just not the option for me. It's like fucking bizarre.
Definitely not, you know.
And
it's like I said before, he may represent a political movement, sure, but he also does represent a former head of state. And that, I'm sorry, folks, but that is an important figure in American politics. And if that person was assassinated, whether it was Obama or Bush or whoever else, that's not good for the country, folks. I mean, that's insane.
No.
You know, you don't want political violence on that level to be how, you know, a country's political system operates. It's just, it's savage. It's not, it's barbaric. I say it.
It's not the way to go.
Yeah, definitely not.
I'm sure a lot of people's lives were very much changed by Trump, and that's understandable, but like, I don't understand why being shot at is the right move.
Not to, we can get through the clips sort of quickly, but just to illustrate the close call of what happened. This is some footage actually of, this is when it happened. This was the angle.
Dan.
Let's take a look.
Take a look at what happened.
So there's no.
and you could see everyone.
So it's again. So someone died in the crowd.
I believe someone behind him died.
So
yeah.
that's. I hope. I don't mean this in like. I hope we do have this. Like, I'm not saying we should. I hope no one has footage of them dying. Like there's hasn't been any.
I don't know. I saw an angle that was after the shooting that I don't know if you could see a body, but it showed like the bleachers, and there was a lot of blood on the bleachers. So I did see a video of that, but I haven't seen an angle.
And again, like you know, I don't think we can look if we can't judge these people. Like if they feel like they want to go here, like that's okay. Like,
another thing, just quickly, because you brought up that a guy died. People have been
was it a
digging
guy?
up.
I thought it was a girl. Is it?
I think I initially thought it was a girl. I think a girl got shot and a guy died. So the guy who died, he was like a volunteer firefighter, as far as I understand, and pretty much died because he was shielding his family from getting shot to death. Now, I will say this. People have found some of the guy's tweets that he made.
The guy who died?
That's right. And they're pretty pro-Trump sort of stuff you'd expect.
Bruh.
And like conservative opinions. And listen, I understand the instinct to want to criticize the guy's beliefs, but you know, political opinions aside, no one deserves to die. Like he wasn't even the target. The guy was going after Trump. And this guy's there with his family, engaging in the political process. He might have opinions you disagree with or you think are horrible.
Well, that guy's shooting. He can't like, he must have known that like, even if he hit Trump, he probably will hit someone else.
Or a Secret Service member, you know, or someone. Yeah. Well, let's take a look at this angle one more time.
Take
a look at what happened.
It sounded like a mosquito. The biggest mosquito you've ever heard. He said. Sorry. Yeah, that's what he said to
the way that he takes the... yeah.
It sounded like a mosquito. The biggest mosquito you've ever heard.
The way that he like... It's like he literally... He has said he got shot in the ear, and you can almost see it.
Take a look at what happened.
It's horrible.
Oh my god! It's like you can see how close of a call it was.
It is. I know I'm joking, but it generally is like fucking horrible, and I would say that for any politician. It's so fucked up. Like it's not necessary. It's
so
messed up.
I've got
this is insane.
Yeah. So this is a few angles.
This is so crazy.
These are some angles I've found that do a really good job at illustrating just how close he came to dying. So this is a close-up of his facial movements in the moment he was shot, and there's an illustration on screen that basically shows how close he came to having his brains blown out, and how his head tilt sort of at the last second kind of saved his life. Let's take a look.
Take a look what happened.
I mean,
it's divine intervention, man.
It is literally some sort of divine intervention. I mean, like him or hate him, the man has been touched by God. Like the man has the luck of 1,000 leprechauns. I don't know how.
1,000 leprechauns.
Yeah, does that make sense?
In a sense, yeah. Well, they're lucky, you know.
And 1,000 of them must be.
And 1,000, Jesus, you're the luckiest man alive.
Well, look at this. Are you not the luckiest man alive if you narrowly miss a bullet like that?
Yeah, that is pretty
my God.
Nuts.
I don't think I've ever been this lucky at a casino even. You know what I mean? It's like, Christ. Here's another... Thank you. Here's kind of the same video, but it's sort of... it kind of visualizes the shooter's perspective. So let's say if the shooter was looking at him like this and he went to take a shot at his head, and then when he moved his head, that's how it would have hit his ear, because from the angle that the shooter was aiming, I believe the shooter must have been higher up, because obviously he shot at crowd members, but this is just an illustration to give you an idea of how
nuts.
How a sudden head movement, just a tiny little change in your head movement, can be the difference between splat and survival. And frankly, not just survival, but some pretty iconic imagery. This was Trump moments
That is
after the assassination.
That's going to be in history books.
What? I mean, this photo is unbelievable.
That's in history books for sure.
This is a history book photo, 30, 40 years from now. This will be in every
And
kid's.
the flag in the background.
The American flag, the raised fists. You can literally see the blood on his face. It is so insane. He has blood. So for the audio listeners, he has blood covering his ear and splattered across his cheek. Raised his hand, big old fist, pumping the fist, American flag flying behind him. It is a phenomenal photo. A lot of people saying whoever took this photo has definitely got to win some sort of photojournalism prize because that is just unbelievable. Right? I mean, what an insane photo. We have a couple of other photos. This
One for
was
history books, folks.
This was a closer angle. He was shouting, "Fight! Fight!" Look at that, man.
So that's what he was shouting.
Yeah, he got up and he I think it was just adrenaline rushed, man. I think he was like, I think in that moment
He
was
was
just
saying
raring to
fight,
go.
just like
The first
fight,
thing
fight
he did
the
say,
libs or something.
to be totally factually accurate, the very first thing he did say was, "Let me get my shoes," which was kind of a funny.
What?
There's a clip where
He
you
went up fucking in his socks or something?
I don't know. Maybe he took his shoes off to stand at the podium, or maybe they fell off when he ducked. I don't know. But there's a clip of the Secret Service like.
Forget your shoes. We'll get 'em later.
Literally, they bring him down, and the first thing he says is like, "Wait, let me get my shoes."
No.
It's very random, but that is technically the first thing he says.
Yeah, but that's you're in shock. You're not thinking straight.
Yes, so he puts his shoes on, and then immediately
You're not thinking straight. You're
he stands up straight and literally full straight, fist pumps the air, and that's when he starts saying "fight, fight, fight." And I got to admit, it's pretty fucking epic. I mean, my goodness.
How soon after the shots was the shooter dead at this point when this photo was taken?
The shooter died pretty immediately. Yeah, I believe.
But does he know that?
I could be wrong. From some of the clips I've seen of the moment that it happened, they were saying like shooter down. So I think that I believe when he stood up and did the fist pump, it had been said out loud that the shooter had been taken out. And so he knew it was, quote unquote safe to pump the fist. You folks, you've witnessed history. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Here's another one, just freaking pumping it. What? Crazy. And his face is so defiant, I think in that moment, I don't blame him for being adrenaline rushed. He would want to just immediately be like, fuck anyone who wants to take me down.
What a world we live in.
Crazy.
Yes.
And then, of course, as both of us predicted, to be honest, we were never going to get a version of this happening without Trump milking it to the very max. And so, of course, a couple of days later, when he appeared at the Republican convention, where the Republican politicians came, he, of course, had an ear patch covering his ear, something like a Band-Aid. You got to draw attention to it.
I kind of literally see myself as a big star.
And we've turned the audio off on this video, but I mean, I'm telling you, the energy in that room of these are the Republican, voters, and
Milwaukee
politicians. They were ecstatic. They loved him. I mean, that him being there, you can see there the nice shot of the ear. And he just milks the crowd, man. He just goes with it. He just takes the opportunity like no politician, man. He knows when a crowd is begging for it, and he just gives them.
Is that Junior?
Yeah.
Junior's there?
Junior's there.
Junior's
his
there?
new vice president's there. It's all happening.
Wow.
What? Yeah, so good old Trumpy boy. He's at least he's alive. Thank goodness, because I do think.
Oh no, there's the MAGA baby.
The MAGA baby.
Mr. President, kiss my baby on the forehead.
Goo goo.
Is that his VP?
No, that's Marco Rubio.
God, I don't know what the fuck it's got. I don't know any of these fuckers.
His VP does look a lot like Trump Jr.
Kiss my baby on the forehead, Mr. Trump, please.
His first words were goo goo MAGA.
That's a good one.
Oh, Jesus. Well, yeah, there you have it, folks. I mean, that's basically
Well,
where America is at.
look, regardless of how we feel, I am glad he's still alive.
Me too. Thank you for surviving, Mr. President.
The rain has come again.
Yeah.
Look, I don't think I think same as you. I don't think he should have fucking died.
Oh.
Thank you.
No, certainly not. You know, I mean, my God, like, what are we, a caveman country? You know, we don't need politicians dying left, right, and center. My goodness.
That is true. We are not cavemen.
Yes, we're civilized. A civilized nation.
You know what I'm talking about?